Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Jim Beam bourbon introduced in 1938. You say 1938, but I thought he was distilling back in 1795. Yep, he was. According to the records, this brand was introduced in 1938, according to my trademark research. Aged 4 years. Sour mash Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Evan Williams green label. Well, I don't know when the green label came out. Probably around 1955 when the other label came out. The black label. These green labels are usually an alternative. They have them for, they exist for Jack Daniels. They did exist for Jim Beam and still Evan Williams. Maybe some other brands. This is aged 3 years and it's charcoal filtered. The Jim Beam is not. All right, I was distracted a little bit setting up the chat. Okay. I think I might be able to tell them apart because I think being that it's charcoal filtered, it might make Jim Beam a little difference here at nearly 6 a.m. Central Time. Still dark, but not for long. Now the Jim Beam, I noticed when I did the initial review of it, had remember I had bought the little plastic bottle last year, a year before last, and it was like a green wood. I said it was like green wood and cellar mold. It was strange. Now my daughter does not like Jim Beam, and then she really says she dislikes Evan Williams. But I didn't find they were bad. I thought they were interesting. Okay. I bought that plastic green label bottle in Kentucky. What town in Kentucky? Lawrence. Not Frankfort. That town south of Frankfort where Wild Turkey's located. Lawrence, Bill, or something. Have to look it up on a map. But they had a pretty good price for the 2 bottles, the green and the black label. So I bought. There's so many liquors in Kentucky, it's unbelievable, and then the prices are low, so you could just fill up your trunk. But I wanted to be conservative and careful. I never did get to go to Wild Turkey. First of all, their times for the tours were kind of unfavorable. They were sort of restrictive. So if you didn't time it just right, I mean, I should have gone though, because I could have made it on the day when I went to Buffalo Trace. I could have done that first. I thought I wasn't going to make it to Buffalo Trace, but I could have made it. So that was a mistake. But some of these tours, you got to sign up for them, and then they'll be booked full. And then they don't give all the tours they said they're going to give. Like when I went to Barton, they were saying, oh, we're only offering this particular one. So I say, what? Okay, anyway, so I didn't make it to Wild Turkey. All right, no big deal. What's the name of that town? Oh, I got them well mixed, believe me. Let's see, Kentucky. Kentucky, birthplace of President Jefferson Davis. All right. who was our president from 1861 to 65. Let's see. Frankfurt. Oh, yeah, Lawrenceburg. I had it right first in Lawrenceburg. Yeah, and then there's Highway 127 that goes north to Frankfurt. But you got to get off on the old 127, like this old route. There's an expressway now that you can follow and leads right to the Buffalo Trace Distillery, since it's right on 127, the gate, entrance gate. Okay. Anyway, enough roadology. They're both golden amber. I don't see any difference in these little tiny glasses. I was talking to Dave to Swillengrog, and Swillengrog was telling me, I'm not a liquor drinker. I said, I'm not a liquor drinker either, because I'm more of a taster. I like to taste them, but to say drink it, nah. I'm more of a beer drinker. I like to taste the wine and taste the liquor, but I find beer is better for just everyday drinking. For me, you know, everybody's different. All right, but it's interesting to taste these different brands. Let's go. Sweet, caramel, aroma commonly associated with whiskey. Some wood. It's mild. Mild. Pleasant. I don't see what the complaint is about either one of these. Now you might say, do you think they're the greatest whiskey around? I don't know. I don't know what the greatest whiskey is. Okay, this one is not as sweet as that. This one here is more woody, maybe more mossy, maybe more greenwood. So I think already, initially, I think this on my right, maybe your left, but I think this is the Jim Beam, just from aroma. And I think this is Evan Williams. It's more of a char in it. I don't know. Let's taste. Maybe that's, but initially, so let's remember that. Sugary sweet. I've never tried rum, but Swillengrog was talking about he drinks rum sometimes. As sweet as whiskey is, I don't know what rum must be like, because whiskey to me tastes like a sugar drink. With flowers, you know, flowers and the candied fruit that you get in the fruit cake. That's what I get when I taste whiskey, usually, those kind of characteristics. You see, that one has more of that woodiness, that greenwood maybe, that like that moss. It's dripping. I have to clean that up a little bit. It's not much, but I don't want whiskey residue on it. This leather topped office desk. Which one's better? Gave me a little shudder. I don't know why. I like a little chill. Didn't expect to get that little chill. I guess it's a tie. They're both good. Yeah, that one's got more of a char, like a charcoal. I say they're a tie, like they're the same, you know, as far as enjoyment international enjoyment units, that term I made up for beer, like one way of looking at beer that people don't, they talk about drinkability. It's sort of like that. But the international enjoyment units is just the overall enjoyment of the product. And you might take a beer that scores lower in flavor and quality, right? But it'd be much higher in international enjoyment units. Like I was saying that the DKML, that 14.2% malt liquor, it's a nearly, or it even is, in my opinion, nearly or is a world-class malt liquor. It's almost 100 out of 100. And perhaps it could be argued that it is, to me. Some people only said it was very good. But they're probably not used to that malt liquor category of lager. But who could stomach drinking it every day, maybe twice a year? So the IEUs are not, they're low. Whereas natural ice, okay, well, let's say take a malt liquor, Old English 800. I mean, it's not nearly as high in quality or flavor or aroma or any of those things. But the IEUs are much higher. I mean, you could just drink OE 800, enjoy it. It's an everyday drinker. So that the end, greatest of all time. I don't know what that means. Who is the greatest? Evan Williams? Jim Beam? All right. So I'm going to call it, and I really did kind of call it right off the bat, but I'm going to say this is the Evan Williams. Ha ha ha. I don't know why I do this to myself. Well, hey, look the other way. I'll delete this video real fast while you're looking the other way. Y'all look over there. What's that? Is that the sun coming up? Whoop, it's deleted. No one saw it. Oh, well, it doesn't exist. I got them mixed up. That's Jim Beam. This is Evan Williams. Now, somebody might say, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about because I labeled it, see? But I know what you mean. You don't know what you're talking about as far as whiskey tasting. Yeah, that could be true. But on the other hand, consider this. How many people that review whiskeys do taste challenges, blind taste challenges? I don't really see that on the internet on these. I watch a lot of these reviews now, and they'll drink one and talk about it, go through all the characteristics. It's better than this, it's worse than that, it's sort of like this, it's sort of like that. And it's very interesting, and they'll go through it, and I like it. But how do we know that the experts, because I'm not an expert, obviously, but how do we know that the experts would do any better in these taste challenges, right? So if anybody wants to call me out on it, which actually no one ever has, but if you wanted to, you get on here and make a taste challenge. Come on here live. Let's do it together. Do a taste challenge concurrently. Maybe you'll do it. Oh, well, so I can't even tell them apart, at least in one challenge. Now, if I did it 10 times, maybe I would start to get a handle on the flavors. But I think the flavors are so similar that they're easily mixed up. Same thing with those common lager beers. You think they're different, and you talk about it. Oh, yeah, it's so different. But then you get them all mixed up. Now, Budweiser, yeah, it's different. It's got that very distinct flavor, which some people hate. A lot of people like. That distinctive verdant rice flavor and that kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a green raw yeast thing that just bothers some people, makes them sick. You get bad headaches and stomach problems, digestive problems. It doesn't bother me a bit. But you don't, so Budweiser, you're not going to mix up with anything. You're not going to confuse it. It's just so unique. Well, you can't be so unique, right? You're either unique or you're not. You're either not like anything else or you are like other things, right? But just like with most of the lagers, these are not unique, and they're just like interchangeable in the flavor. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just a fact, or it's a fact in my tasting, right? And I can only taste stuff from myself. So what does that tell me? Well, whether I'm good at tasting things or differentiating products, that's not really important, because anybody could start their own channel or just not start a channel and do their own tastings at home. So I'm just one person making videos. I mean, that doesn't mean much. But I think the main lesson or the moral of the story is that if you're going to buy bourbon whiskey and you're looking at Jim Beam or Evan Williams Green Label, you may as well shop price. And let me tell you now, you're going to get a much better price on the Evan Williams. It's about $3 cheaper per bottle. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather save $3 per bottle on a comparable good substitute. You could say Evan Williams Green Label is a good substitute for Jim Beam. Now, some people say, oh, but I wouldn't have Evan Williams Green Label at a party. People might not like that. Oh, well, hey, you know what? People love to go to a party and drink free liquor. And it's funny because some of the people that do that, they'll criticize it. You know what I mean? Like they'll go to your party or your get together and then downgrade what you're offering, but then they'll drink it. It's like, hey, if you wanted to drink Four Roses, you could have brought some. Oh no, they don't want to do that because they got to buy it. But I don't ever worry about those kind of things. And like Bobby Futch said, the guy that gave me the unopened bottle, the 1977 unopened bottle of Old Crow bonded, they don't even make that anymore, bonded Old Crow 100 proof. And he gave me the unopened 1983 bottle of Wild Turkey 101. Thanks, Bob. He said, well, he used to own his own businesses, and he would have parties, Christmas parties, and then, oh, of course, everybody would show up because they want to get free food and drinks. And, of course, have a party, you know. I'm not saying, but, you know, it's a tendency people have, right? So we all do that. Now, but he said, now he knew how these people were. They would go drink, 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 drink. But never buy. Just drink. No problem. So when he would always have the Old Crow for them. And he had the Wild Turkey back behind the bar. He would be jealous of that. You know what I mean? Like he would not have that out available. Because they would always want to grab the more expensive stuff and drink the fool out of it. He'd say, I'll show them. So you put the cheaper item, let them drink that. He said they would do it. They wouldn't complain. How dare they complain at getting it free? I went to my grandmother's 95th birthday party, and I can't remember the two beers I brought, but I brought a 6-pack of pint cans of Busch. But no one said anything bad. You know, this one guy, who was that? My father's first cousin. He looked in the ice chest. He saw the Busch. He pulled it out, started drinking. He actually went through all the different beers, and he pulled that one out specifically. They have Busch followers. You say, why? I don't know, but they do. But they're sort of open-minded on that. Actually, both sides of my family, but that side, that Baton Rouge side, they're kind of open-minded. Like, I mean, they have their attached brands. Like some of them only drink Miller Lite, and some of them only drink Bud Light, but they'll try things, you know, and they won't downgrade it. They won't actually drink it and start drinking it, but they'll try it, you know, like Schlitz, or different alcohol. Like my uncle, he's going to only drink Tanqueray and tonic, okay? He's going to only drink Tanqueray. That's what he's going to drink for gin. And then he'll start saying crazy stuff, you know. But he would try other gins. He would try them, you know. He would make he would make funny comments about him too. Like, you know, he might make interesting comments about him. I don't know. He's interesting. It's just, I like to hear him talk. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people in my family, I just like to hear them talk. And I'll ask questions. I just want to hear what they're going to say. They would be shy to come on video. They would never come on video. Then they would be like uptight and wouldn't say anything. But in a setting where they don't feel under pressure to talk, they say the funniest thing or the most interesting things. All right. Well, anyway, enough of that jibber jabber. So the final word, it's a wash. No winners, no losers. But in an underneath way, there is a winner, and it's Evan Williams Green Label because it's $3 cheaper per bottle, right? So I'm going to shop price. You can buy what you want. I'm shopping price. I do that when I buy cars. I mean, I'll look at all the different brands, and if the kind of the features are similar and the quality is similar, just go with the, well, I also shop. You know, I'll buy stuff I've never had before. You know what I mean? Like, I never had a Chrysler product. And people say, Chrysler? Oh, no, not Chrysler. Well, then that made me want to buy it even more, you see, because it's sort of odd, you know, odd. So I bought a Dodge Avenger. And then people will say, you know, interesting comments about Dodge Avenger. But I've had pretty good success with that for 4.5 years. I mean, 32 miles per gallon on the highway. I like the handling on it. The handling is so much superior to that Corolla. I mean, the Corolla was fine. I would get 44 miles to the gallon on the highway. I got 30-something, 39 all around. Just driving around 30, 39, 38 all the time. But I could get up to 44 miles per gallon on the highway. And the car was cheap. I mean, the Corolla was inexpensive. And it never broke. I mean, these cars, they never break, you know. But it was like driving a buggy. You know, it was like driving to New York City in a buggy. That kind of started to bother me. But you could park it anywhere. I mean, it was so nimble. You know, that car was so nimble. It was just like, nimble can be bad too, because you feel every pebble. You know, every pebble you run over on the interstate, you feel it. Ran over a pebble. Ran over a grain of sand. I felt that. So there's some problems with that. But the Avenger, the handling is so much better, and the road feel is so much better. They don't even make Avengers anymore, but when I got into that car compared to the Corolla, it was like unbelievable, you know. And then, can you imagine what a Dodge Charger would be, like an RT or an SXT? The road feel, the handling, the passing ability. Yeah, I got to stay away from that dealership, because then you see them and you say, you just want to have it, you know. But no, I really do need to go 10 years on this Avenger. I want to make it, for once in my life, I want to have a car 10 years and avoid the urge to get something new. All right, enough of that. Thanks, folks, watching this taste challenge. And then next time, probably in 2 days, not necessarily, but probably in 2 days, Evan Williams Green Label versus Jim Beam Choice, the 5-year age charcoal filtered Green Label. Will it make a difference? I don't know. It didn't seem to make a difference here, but it'd be fun to try it anyway. Thank you.